welcome to the YouTube channel for Catch. My name is Sam and I am the founder and lead coach here at Catch. Unshakable confidence is the key to getting everything that you want in life and dating. So on this channel we talk about everything to do with confidence, mindset and how to implement that in your life, with a focus on dating and relationships, but applicable to all areas of your life. So in this video we're going to be talking about how to become magnetic and 10 steps to do that. And I'm really excited to get into this topic. It's something that we've mentioned in some of our shorter videos and given little tips for, but this is going to be your one-stop shop and where you can come and keep revisiting to, as you know, a reminder and to look at these different areas. And if you're not feeling really confident in yourself or happy and excited, what is it? Like, what of these 10 things can you maybe work on or needs a refresher to help boost your confidence and that magnetism? So let's get the energy going on this video, and if you're here, comment down below and say I am magnetic. Let's start putting that energy out there and we'll get into the steps. Oh, and if you're interested in working with us in any way, all that information is in the description box below. Would love to work with you. So the first step to becoming magnetic is to assume that people like you. And we talked about this in one of our shorter videos, which we'll link down below. But we are the best versions of ourselves, just to summarise. We're the best versions of ourselves, the most fun, relaxed, playful, sexy, entertaining, fun versions of us when we just assume that the other person likes us. That's why we're the best version of ourselves with often our partner or our best friend, someone that we've known for a long time, because we just feel like we can be who we authentically are without worrying about how it's coming across or what they're thinking about us. You know, do they like us? And it means that we just naturally have the most fun and are authentic, and we're not worrying about how it comes across. So if you assume people like you even the first time that you meet them, or that they will like you, those best qualities that come out with your partner or your family or your best friend will come out with that person. And we as humans naturally connect with one another when someone's being authentic and open and a bit vulnerable, but also are feeling really good within themselves, and they're not looking for validation from us. They're just being who they are regardless, and they've decided, you know what, I'm going to turn up and have a good time. I'm going to have fun in this conversation, and we're going to have a great conversation, and this person's going to like me. And that is that magnetic type energy. So go into every interaction with people, whether you know them or not, just assuming they already like you and that you're already good enough, and see how it goes. The second step to being magnetic is smiling and being positive. And this might sound glib and like a simple, easy thing to do, but think about how it feels on the receiving end when you pass someone in the street or you're interacting with someone. They're in a good mood, they've got a good energy around them, they're having a good day, or even if they're not, they're just doing the thing, going about their day, doing the best they can, and they smile at you or give you a compliment or make eye contact. You know, those little interactions make our day. So if you want to become magnetic, curate that positive energy within you and smile as much as you can and laugh as much as you can. And don't force it. We're not saying don't honour your emotions. If you're having a down day, processing those emotions, getting them out is absolutely necessary to then release them and get back to a positive place. But as much as you can, just don't take things so seriously. You know, look at the positive things in life. Be grateful for the things that you have. Practice that gratitude and look at things, deliberately look at things in a positive way, or take the best possible interpretation of a situation out of it. And not only will that make you feel better, but that energy will emanate out of you, and that is what will draw people to you, and it becomes a positive cycle. You, by feeling good, emanate that energy, other people pick up on it, they'll feel better, emanate that to someone else, and the ripple effect as well for others can be great. The third thing is pursue your interests and hobbies and your passions, and do those shamelessly, regardless of what other people think. So this is really about becoming an authentic version of you and shamelessly being who you are, regardless of what other people think, because it links to step 2. For you to be that happy, positive person, part of that is getting what you want out of life and living the kind of life that you want. And that's very individual, person to person, and other people might not understand your interests or your hobbies, but if they make you feel good and you don't care what other people think and whether they approve of those hobbies, you're going to feel more fulfilled, more loved and worthy and secure within yourself. You're creating those internal positive feelings which are magnetic to other people. So spend some time thinking about, what is that dream vision for your life? What do you want your life to look like? Maybe there are things from childhood that as you've grown up you have less time for, or you spend more time doom scrolling online than you do pursuing those hobbies. Really think about, what is the best version of me, the happiest version of me, and what are they doing, and how can you move your life closer to that? Because it will make you happier, and more confident, and it'll draw people to you. And you know what? The geekier the better, and you being your unique geeky self is what will make you feel best and attract others. So comment down below what your favourite hobby is, what the geekiest thing about you is. And I actually did a community post, I think it was a couple of weeks ago now, where I said this. I said, look, what makes you feel good? What activities make you feel confident, make you feel powerful, make you feel sexy, make you feel happy? And I listed what they were for me, right? So I go to the gym a lot and specifically do weightlifting and yoga. And there's a lot of people out there that don't think women should be bodybuilding, doing weights, but it makes me feel proud of myself, gives me a sense of achievement. I love seeing the progress of the weights going up or trying new things. I love that I'm looking after myself physically. I feel stronger and healthier within my body, and have more mental clarity. And so I'm going to do that regardless of what anybody else thinks. And I'm trying to think what other geeky things I can share. So I'm also very into the environment and doing whatever I can for the environment. So I pay for private recycling of plastic, so it gets remade into furniture and playgrounds for schools and things like that, rather than going into landfill. And I thrift a lot of my clothes, most of my clothes, because I just find that fun, and it makes me feel good to be pursuing that as an interest and a hobby and living in line with my values. So might not be everyone's cup of tea, but it is for me. The fourth thing, and actually just to mention, if you also are pursuing your interests and hobbies, you also tend to be busier and not too available for people. And it's important that we are prioritising ourselves over others when it comes to being magnetic. The people that we are drawn to are the people who feel good because they're putting themselves first and doing what they need to do to make themselves feel good on a day-to-day basis, but also create the life that they want. So don't fake not being available, but it also means you're not available to everyone all the time and putting them above you. in terms of how you feel. So that's another benefit of interest in hobbies. The fourth thing is having standards, boundaries, and self-respect. And this is about, and we are going to do a longer video on boundaries, but we did do a shorter one. So again, we'll link that down below. But by being clear how people in your life need to show up for you to put energy into them, i.e. not necessarily being angry and resentful if they don't show up like that, but being deliberate about putting your energy into people that meet your standards and boundaries and treat you with respect, and being clear what, through your boundaries, what treatment you allow into your life or not, because you know that's going to make you feel good. Again, it inspires people to meet those boundaries. And also it makes people respect you, because you respect yourself enough to say, this is the behaviour that I will and won't accept. If you don't want to be in my life, that's fine. But this is what I know feels good to me. This is what respect looks like for me, and good treatment. And those are the kind of relationships, friendships, family relationships, romantic, that I want. And that is so attractive. Like when someone is able to say, nope, like I'm not going to entertain this because I'm only willing to entertain people that show up in that way. I'm sure we've all experienced this. It makes you want to be closer to that person because they know their worth, they respect themselves, they love themselves, and they also are expecting more of you. They're saying, I know that you can be better than this. I'm not going to take your half-assed, flaky breadcrumbs or whatever. I'm only going to take this level of communication or, you know, vulnerability or way of interacting with me. So that is extremely attractive, being clear on what you deserve, and that comes from a place of self-worth. And the fifth step, linked to standards and boundaries, is being detached enough to know that if someone is acting in a way that doesn't meet those boundaries, doesn't meet those standards, that, as I say, you don't get resentful and negative towards them for having those standards, but because you know your worth and how you feel within yourself is your priority, you can be detached to their behaviour and see that it's not personal to you. It's usually to do with their own lack of confidence, insecurity, past traumas, maybe how they've been brought up, and they might not necessarily realise how that behaviour reflects or how you necessarily take that in. But by being grounded enough in your own worth and value to uphold those standards and boundaries, but also knowing that their behaviour is not a direct reflection on you, and you being unshakable, again, means that it doesn't matter how anyone else is acting, you still feel good. And you can say, look, this is all I'm going to accept. You don't need to be in my life. Thank you, no thank you. But also you're not so attached to their behaviour that you see it's personal, and you allow that to affect how you're feeling and your confidence, and you're looking for external validation. Instead, you're internally validating because you know your worth and you know who you are. And step 6, again, building on having standards and boundaries, knowing your worth and being detached, is about self-validating continuously and not looking for the approval of others. So you decide what those boundaries and standards are that are relevant to you. You're setting up your own dream life whereby you're pursuing the hobbies that make you happy. You're clear what treatment is coming into your life. If someone isn't showing up in that way, you're not bothered. You're still continuing with your day and doing the things that make you feel good about yourself. And you know that you are a good person, you're a worthy person, you're living in line with your values. You are taking the action that makes you feel good. That is going to build your confidence and be magnetic to people. And what's interesting is when we look at people like famous music artists or famous actors, they aren't necessarily looking for approval. They decide that they are worthy and they are good enough and they're brilliant at what they do before they see that reassurance from others. Before they become famous, they've decided that they deserve to be famous because they're good enough, because they've self-validated and they've decided, I'm passionate about this, I'm good at it, I don't care if I get famous right away, but I know that I'm good enough. And you can hear it in a lot of singers' lyrics, right? They say, I'm worthy, I'm treated like I'm chosen. Or they say things in interviews like, oh, I was expecting to get famous, I knew it was going to happen, it didn't matter how many no's I got. Or like they'll sing, I know my stuff's different, or, you know, I know I'm worthy, etc. Those people know who they are and the brilliant things about them that make them unique, and they know that they're good enough without having to be told externally. They are self-validating. And that is such a magnetic energy because you're unshakable. It doesn't matter if someone comes up to you and goes, no, you're not good looking enough, you're not good enough at this, you know, stop being delusional, etc. You're going, okay, well, I don't care what you think. I'm going to carry on having a good day. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to play Dungeons and Dragons. I'm going to cook, whatever it is that makes you feel good. It's like, cool, no worries. I don't care what you think. I'm not going to play into that energetically and I'm going to get on my day. That person will then go, you know, be thinking, oh my God, how do they not care about what I think about them? And then want to get closer to you and change their mind because they can't have an effect on how you're feeling about yourself. So the sixth thing is self-validating, not looking for the approval of others, and deciding within yourself who you are. The seventh thing is similar to number one, assuming people like you. It's assuming that everything will work out in your favour. Trusting people around you, even if circumstances look undesirable. Trusting yourself to figure things out one step at a time. Not feeling the need to control everything in your life, control people around you. In fact, wanting to control things comes from a place of not feeling safe and secure within yourself. Feeling insecure, feeling a lack of confidence, but just knowing that you're good enough and you're worthy and you're talented, and that whatever you put out into the world, you're going to get back, and the steps that you're taking are going to pay off. So you don't need to manically run around trying to get everyone to like you or to believe in what it is that you want to achieve for your life. You just know that it's all going to work out, and the benefit of that is that you're trusting other people, you're believing in the best in them, which brings it out of them and it makes them want to help you, but also it means that you stay relaxed and confident within yourself that it's all working out for the best, which again nurtures a positive feeling state, a confident feeling state, and people respond to that in a positive way. Step 8, which we've referred to earlier in this video, is putting yourself first, whether that's physically, emotionally, spiritually, and being self-aware enough or curating enough self-awareness to know what you need on a day-to-day or an hour-by-hour basis. Do I need to exercise right now? Do I need to eat healthily? Do I need to drink water? Do I need to indulge in a little treat for myself? What's going to make me feel good internally, and putting that first. And of course you want to be someone who's reliable and be a good person, be a good friend, be a good family member, but not at the expense of your own physical or mental health, and really honouring when you're having those up and down days so that you can work through them. Because when we push down our emotions or negative feelings, they come back tenfold later on down the line. So really creating that self-awareness and honouring ourselves and putting ourselves first. And a lot of these other steps in terms of having those interests and hobbies that you care about, having standards and boundaries, not caring what other people think about you, those are putting yourself first. But I think it's the self-awareness and thinking on the level of physically, emotionally and spiritually, what do I need that's going to make me the best version of me, because you can then give more to others from that place as well without attachment. And the other aspect of putting yourself first is when you get clear on that life you want and that best version of you, being focused and disciplined enough towards those goals that you are again putting yourself first, because you're creating the life of your dreams, you're honouring again yourself in a different way, which is, you know, the kind of life you want and you're going after it, and you're not sacrificing those things based on other people's opinions or judgments or making other people happy, but you're doing it for you. And that's when we're going to be our happiest, and also look back on our life and know that we took the shots that were important to us. Actually, we did another video on being delusional and how being delusional is a good thing, because at least we're going after the things we truly want rather than being realistic and giving up before we even start, because that's when we look back on our life and have regrets and feel sad that we didn't go after something, and we don't want anyone on this channel to have that experience. Number 9 is really be conscious of your energy and what you're letting into your energetic field. And for example, maybe there are people in your life who gossip or who create drama, or perhaps looking at the news about things in other countries that you can't control triggers you, and or going on social media means that you compare yourself to other people, and that makes you feel negatively about yourself. So really, again, build that self-awareness to understand, where is your energy going? Is it going towards something positive that's going to make you feel good about yourself? Some of these things we talked about, you know, having your interests and hobbies, getting clear on your dream life, going after your goals, looking after yourself physically, mentally, emotionally. Or is that energy going on to things that you have no ability to change in this immediate moment, or worrying about things when you could be in more of a trusting place, or worrying about how other people see you? Because when we think about others and care what they think of us, it's a trap that we can never get out of, is how we would rationalize it, because everyone on this earth is an individual and wants something different from people in their lives. So if we're showing up in a way that we think is how other people want, we're never going to satisfy everyone, and we're never going to satisfy everyone because everyone wants something different. We're not being authentic to ourselves, which we know deep down, which affects our confidence over time. But if we do try and please everyone and they want different things, we end up being a very watered down version of ourselves who self-sacrifices often to try and please others, or does what we think they want. Whereas in reality, what people tend to be drawn to is the things in this video, people that have their own hobbies and don't care what they think and are positive and have boundaries and are self-validated. Those are the people who we tend to be drawn towards. We all know those people in our lives who care so much what other people think that they self-sacrifice, they overextend, they do too many favours. And yeah, it might be useful to have them in our lives, but we never really respect them and love them and adore them in the way that they deserve, because they don't love themselves internally. And so it's hard to reflect that, and we can always sense that they are self-sacrificing for us. And unfortunately, sometimes in human nature, that means that we can take advantage even if we know they're a good person. So the 9th thing is to be very clear where your energy is going, and don't waste energy trying to get other, change yourself to get other people to like you, because it's a never win. You can't win that game. And finally, let go of, consciously work on letting go of hurt, pain and resentment from the past. And we talked about this again in another video which was called "If You Are Fed Up and angry at dating, watch this, because when we've been hurt in the past and we hold on to that hurt and pain, or we start to tell ourselves a story about how we're a victim and people have hurt us and it's unfair, even though those feelings are valid and you're entitled to feel that way, when you hold on to it for too long and that resentment becomes bitterness, that energetically comes across. It sits below the surface. We're angry. We're waiting for people to betray us or trip us up. We're deep down not feeling good about ourselves. We can't trust people, and we put our guard up to others. And so that hurt and pain becomes a self-fulfilling cycle, because we've been hurt in the past, and to try and stop being hurt in the future, we put our guard up. We don't let ourselves get close to people, but then really that hurts us in another way. Or people pick up on the fact that we have that internal anger or sadness, and it isn't as pleasant to spend time with us after a while. Of course, there's grieving periods and we get over things, but I mean internalizing it and seeing it as personal to us and looking at the world in a more jaded way. So this links to this being positive and having high energy. Give yourself the space to grieve and get over things in life which are difficult and unfair, and let go of that pain and resentment, and try to stay open and vulnerable, because we connect with one another when we're being open and vulnerable and being ourselves without needing the approval of each other. That's where healthy connections come from. And because we're feeling good, we give from a place of wanting to share the love and the happiness that we have internally, rather than wanting to control others or only giving a little bit because we've been hurt in the past and we don't want to be hurt in the future. So we give a tiny amount, but only if we see something back from someone else very quickly, or we're over analysing, you know, are they appreciative of what we've done for them and are expecting something back straight away. You know, the energy is very different. So if we can let go of any pain and anger from the past, because frankly it makes us feel better, it's not even for anyone else, it's just for us, and see it as a learning process. You know, if I've been hurt by somebody, what can I learn for future? Was I undervaluing myself? Did I play into a dynamic? Did I ignore red flags? What can I do in the future that doesn't play into that dynamic without necessarily shutting myself down completely? That's a healthy way to move on from hurt and pain and decide that you're going to have something different for your life going forward. And it's those people who have that openness, that zest for life, they think positively, we meet them and we can tell they see the best, you know, they assume the best of us, and they might have high expectations, but it comes from a great place, and they themselves hold themselves to high expectations, and they're just having fun, enjoying the conversation, they're not looking for validation. We all know those people, and those are the people that we want to go above and beyond for, and we want to impress, and we want to compliment, and we ask them, you know, how are you so magnetic? How, you know, you look so good, your skin is glowing. What is it? And it's these 10 things. So just to recap: assume people like you, smile and be positive, pursue your geeky interests and hobbies, have standards and boundaries, know your worth and be detached, don't take how the people behave personally, self-validate, so don't look for the approval of others and know who you are, assume it's all working out and trusting, put yourself first, physically, emotionally and spiritually, work towards your goals, be deliberate where you put your energy, and don't let drama or negativity affect that as much as you can, and process your emotions, let go of any hurt, pain and resentment, and take it as a learning process about what you could do differently next time to avoid getting into that situation again, but without letting it internalize and become, you know, resentment towards the world. And if you do those 10 things, or even just most of these, and work on them, you will see that people start to treat you differently, respond more positively to you, want to help you out, are inspired by you, compliment you, and overall you are magnetic. So would love to hear what you think. Comment down below. Maybe you've brought some of these things into your own life, or you've met other people that embody these things and you want to share and help others on this channel. And or maybe you have a different perspective or something we've missed. Comment that down below as well. Thank you for liking, sharing, commenting and subscribing, and we'll see you in the next one. Have a great day. Thanks. Bye.